the former Cape Atlantic League president who just handed over the reins to Steve Fortis over at Absegami. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Dave. How you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for joining us. I know it's a nice day out there, and you're probably itching to get out and get some stuff done.
I'm actually in the gym at Mainland with a couple kids working out, so that's usually my Saturday morning thing before I get
nice.
outside. But yeah, no doubt.
Working on the jump shot and some 3-pointers.
Yeah, we're on the gun.
Nice.
Taking some shots and doing a little lifting and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Just want to catch up with you real quick. I know you announced recently that you're kind of stepping down as president of the Cape Atlantic League and handing that over to Steve Fortis. What was the inspiration behind that decision? Were you just kind of wanting to take a little more time for yourself?
No, you know what? It absolutely wasn't that. Sometimes you see when people step away from something that, they say, hey, I want to do a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. Typically, Dave, and the 5 South Jersey leagues of which we're one, a presidency or an officer's position is typically 2 years, a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have an election and you change and what have you. And we have done that, but at the same time, if things are going well, why fix them? And so for 10 years, I've been in that position, and I really had kind of inquired 2 years ago to kind of take a step back and let somebody else step in. And again, my colleagues talked me into, and it wasn't hard, but just said, hey, we really want you to stay. And I said, no problem, because it was never, Dave, you know me, it's not about the work. I mean, just like I'm in the gym today, I'm at Mainland 7 days a week. I mean, it has nothing to do with that. But I do think it's important, sometimes to hear some other voices. Same thing as a coach or anybody else. So, quite honestly, made it extremely comfortable this year, with Steve, taking over, and we've been side by side with each other, for the last 2 years, talking, preparation, all that kind of stuff. So really, the transition was more, what's in the paper and us talking about it, not necessarily whether or not, Steve was in that position. So I'm pretty excited for him. I'm certainly not going anywhere. I mean, Steve and I and the other, we talk every day. So,
right.
But I do feel that it was a good time, and I have to say, like, kind of the West Jersey football thing. It seemed like that was like the timing of the thing, but that thing was in works for almost a year. It was just ironic that the timing of when we got accepted into the West Jersey, then it was like, okay, I stepped away. But it really, the two didn't really coincide. It just happened to be, around the same time.
Right. For those who don't know, what's involved with being the Cape Atlantic League president?
Well, a variety of things. I mean, it definitely has changed over the years. A lot more concerns from rules and regulations perspective. The thing that is probably the greatest, I would say, overall attribute that I got out of being the president of the Cal was what the Cal gave to me, not what I gave to the Cal. The skills that I was able to learn in that position and dealing with not only our own ADs but parents, questions that come in, coaches' issues. I mean, the list goes on, Dave. And the ability to handle 20 different personalities in a room who are very prideful for their schools, and now take that outside of with some of the issues that come up, plus the fact that you're on a number of committees. Automatically with the state. And that's the other thing, is that I've gotten a lot more involved at the NJSIA level. I'm on 4 or 5 different committees there, and a brand new committee that's being formed with the DAANJ. And I really feel that at this point in my career, I can do much better work for South Jersey on the state level as opposed to the Cape. Now, I've done both for quite a number of years, but I've been asked to do a couple different things on the state level that will require a little bit more time. But, that wasn't the reason. The reason was it was the right time, and we got the right people in place, to take over the league. And I feel extremely, extremely comfortable, not only with my decision, but, with the leadership that, we have in place right now.
We're talking with Mike Gatley, athletic director at Mainland Regional High School, who was the president of the Cape Atlantic League for 10 years. Now he's going to be stepping aside and letting Absegami athletic director Steve Fortis take the reins of that. Mike, just looking back over the last 10 years, give us some of your thoughts on the state of the Cape Atlantic League. I mean, it really seems like almost a golden age of sports in Cape Atlantic League when you look at the baseball, the football, basketball. You guys have started a bunch of lacrosse programs. So a lot of good stuff going on with girls sports. So really, this is one of the best times in Cape Atlantic history, I would think.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. You can look at certain things that have gone on in the league that get publicized, and we've done some nice things with different sports. I mean, obviously the basketball tournament that was developed a number of years ago has been an absolute home run. Not only for the kids that are involved, the coaches, the fans, from a state perspective, college coaches come down and see kids. But I'm going to say to you, and I've said this to everybody, none of that would happen if the culture in the room hadn't changed. And that was one of the things that I was extremely concerned about when I came into the league. There was just too many people that were looking out for just their own school. And don't get me wrong, we're all prideful for our own places. Mm-hmm. But when a school is asking you, would you mind changing this, or can you move this over here to help you? That's a very small example, Dave, but that type of camaraderie and collegiality was not happening. And, when I got involved from an officer's position, I was vice president for a couple of years, and I said, we're not going to be able to get things done in this league unless we change the attitude and the culture in the room. And that's not knocking anybody previously or anything, but our meetings used to sometimes be knockdown, drag-out meetings of people going after each other. We don't have any of that. I wouldn't tolerate that, but we have enough respect for each other in that room. And I can tell you how you know that is for this league to go through everything that we went through in football, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, and still work with each other every single cycle to try to develop, and constantly in the room, how can we make this better? How do we do it? That's a pretty good testament to what I'm saying, that you don't have people, talking about, they don't care about the small schools, or they only care about the big schools, or no one cares about non-publics. It's none of the above. We all try to work together to the best of our ability. And to me, that if there's icing on that final 10 years of a presidency cake, that's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of the professionalism in that room, the cooperation, not only that I received, but that we do respect about each other. And I think that speaks volumes of the success of this league.
We're talking with Mike Gatley, Mainland Athletic Director, former president of the Cape Atlantic League, just stepped down. Mike, real quick before we let you go, what do you think of the future of the Cape Atlantic League? It seems like it's really coming into its own as one of the best leagues in not only in South Jersey but also the state.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree, Dave. I mean, I think we've always kind of, if you look at the Cape, I mean, we've always had good teams and good programs. But oftentimes, and this is just me, when I look at the other four leagues, Colonial Conference, Tri-County, Burlington, and Olympic, I always looked at the Olympic because of the bigger schools in trying to do a comparison. Well, you know what? We're beating those schools now. And, although we don't have as many large enrollment schools as some of the other leagues do, that's how I gauge it. So if you look at us in South Jersey and you say, okay, where does the Cape fit in? Start looking at the amount of South Jersey championships we're winning, because that's taken those 5 leagues, 105 schools approximately, putting them all together, group size, and saying, okay, in these particular sports, here is who the best. And I got to tell you, I mean, it's not just me; it's fact. You open up the paper, you're seeing the Cape much more often than you have in the past. Winning South Jersey championships. Don't get me wrong, the Cape Atlantic League is a terrific championship, and that's step one. But once you get to the state level, Dave, it's a different feeling. I always used to say that when I was in college, when we won playoff games and we're on the road. The more you win, the nicer the bed is at the hotel. The food gets a little bit better. There's something about winning a South Jersey championship that trumps anything else that you can do in your league. And again, that's not to degrade that. That to me is the indicator of where this league is going. And I'm sure they won numerous championships long before Mike Gatley or anybody else got in this league. But
right.
I feel very, very comfortable, and it's a great insight on your part. You take a look, man. The Cape is well represented at the state level.
Definitely. Thanks, Mike, for taking a few minutes. Appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of your summer. We'll be catching up with you soon.
So you do a great job, brother. Keep it up, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That was Mike Gatley, Mainland Athletic Director.